Bechoros Daf Yud Beis. There's a list of 6 things that you can't bring as a Korban Pesach, and therefore you can't bring them for Petach Hamar. The first one is an egel, a calf. Second one is a chaya, which is like a deer, or any shechted animal. A treifa, where the hind leg is cut above the knee and it's visible. A koi, where the parents are a chaya and a behema. And klayim, where the parents are a sheep and a goat. According to Rebbe Lezer, a sheep and a goat, klayim is okay to do as Petach Hamar because you can bring a sheep and you can bring a goat, so you can bring the offspring of both of them. But if I have this hekesh to Korban Pesach, so then I should only be able to do Petach Hamar with a male and a tamim with no mum, says the Gemara. For that we have tifda that tells us that it doesn't have to be only a male, it could be a female, it doesn't have to be a tamim. The Gemara asks, can I do redemption with the following 4 behemoths? Very interesting cases. The first case is a ben pekua. The second case is nidma. The third case is psul l'mikdashim, and the fourth case is an animal bought with shemitah fruit. So the first case, ben pekua, as we learned, if you shechted a mother and you find in her stomach a live fetus, that fetus doesn't require shechita. The question is it a live animal, or since I can eat it, it's as if you have meat in a basket and it's no good for Petach Hamar. Says the Gemara that according to Rameir, it's definitely okay, because according to Rameir, ben pekua that came to full term requires shechita. But according to Chacham, that doesn't require shechita. That's where the question is. Says Mar Zutra, you cannot use it because again we do the same hekesh to Korban Pesach. Since a ben pekua is no good for Korban Pesach, it's no good for Petach Hamar. According to Rav Ashi, it's okay. Now, a nidma, if an animal gives birth to something that looks completely different than itself. So if a cow gives birth to something that looks like a sheep, no good, because we go by the mother. The mother is a cow, no good for Petach Hamar. But the question is, what if a sheep gave birth to a goat-looking thing? So according to Rebbe Eliezer, that says that the kalayim is okay, then this is also okay, because if you could bring a offspring from a goat and a sheep, so certainly you could bring an offspring from a sheep and a sheep that looks like a goat. According to Chachamim, there's a suffix. Can you use psul mikdashim? Meaning you have an animal that was designated for a karban and you redeemed it. Now you want to use it for Petach Hamar. The problem is that this redeemed animal, you cannot use it anymore for work, and you cannot shear its wool, so it's puzzle, so to speak, and you cannot add a psul on top of a psul. Any isur chalal isur. That's only according to Rabbi Yehuda that says that Petach Hamar is asur b'hana, but according to Rabbi Shimon that says mutar b'hana, no question over here. And finally, the question is, can you use an animal that you bought with shemitah fruit? The problem is that it says by shemitah, it says la'achla, the fruit is only for eating and not for doing business. So if you're trying to redeem a real full-fledged Petach Hamar, you're not allowed to do it because this is considered business. You just bought yourself a donkey with fruit of shemitah. But if it's a suffix animal, the question is whether or not you could do a redemption. Says Rav Chizda, at the end of the day, yes, you could redeem it. You could use an animal bought with shemitah food for Petach Hamar. And once we're talking about nidma, so by the way, halacha by nidma, you don't have to bring meiser, just like there's no bechor by nidma, and you can't bring it as a karban. If there's an animal of shemitah and it had a firstborn, there's no bechor. Why? Because the bechor, you have to take the emurim and put it on the mizbeach, and it says by shemitah la'achla v'loy l'sarfa. So maybe one would ask the question, so say the same thing by challah. And the halach is by challah that if somebody eats dough before, there's afrosh's challah before he separated the challah, he's chayiv misa. Question is, there shouldn't be any isser of challah, because since you can't burn the challah, if somebody touches it when he's tamei, you shouldn't be able to burn it, because it says la'achla v'loy l'sarfa. Same thing that we said by behem of shemitah. Says the Gemara, no, but there's a special word by challah that says l'darisechem, you always bring challah no matter what. An animal that was bought with shemitah fruit is still chayiv matan skuna zroya l'chayayim mekeva, because that's considered la'achla, it's not considered l'sarfa. We learned in the Mishnah that once you give the animal, if you decide to give the actual donkey to the kohen, he's not allowed to leave it in his possession even for a moment. He has to redeem it right away. The Gemara adds that the Yisrael must stand there and watch him. We don't trust any kohanim that they'll do the redemption. Why? Because they're moira heter, meaning they say to themselves, what's the point of me redeeming it? Since the seh that I'm going to redeem it with is going to remain mine, so I didn't accomplish anything, I'm not going to do the redemption, therefore you must stand there and watch him. If you set aside a seh, says Rebbe Lezer, that it's in your achrayus, you have to guarantee it. So if the owner has to guarantee it, and if the seh dies, he must replace it with another one, because it's not considered the kohen's yet. If the donkey itself died, then you must bury it if we're talking about after he designated the seh, but before he gave it to the kohen, he has to bury it. But the owner can then use the seh, he can benefit from the seh. But according to Chachamim, the seh is considered, once you designate it, it's considered it's the kohen's, and if it dies, you don't have to replace it, and if the donkey dies at that point, after you designate it, then you don't have to bury the donkey. There's a contradiction in the brises. In one brise it says that Pidyon Haben happens after 30 days, Pidyon Petach Hamar happens immediately. So the word is immediately. And Erchen, when a person says R Eli, you give the money based at the time of when you said R Eli, not at the time that you give the money. But it says that Petach Hamar you do right away. The other brise says that there's 4 things that you do after 30 days. Pidyon Haben, Petach Hamar, over here it says Petach Hamar is after 30 days. And then it says Nazir and Erchen. Must say, says the Gemara according to Rav Nachman, that the main mitzvah is after 30 days. But if somebody went ahead and he did the mitzvah before 30 days, it's okay. Pidyon Haben is only after 30 days. So why does the Brisa say that you can do Pidyon Haben before 30 days? The answer is, it's only if the father said that it should be chal, it should take place after 30 days. Rav Sheshes says the exact opposite. The mitzvah is to do it right away. And if you do it after 30 days, you're over. And Rava says there's no question at all, because one brisa goes according to Rabbi Eliezer that makes a hekesh between Pidyon Haben, a human, and an animal. And therefore the mitzvah is after 30 days. And the other brisa goes according to Chachamim that there's no hekesh, and therefore the mitzvah is right away. Have a wonderful day.